Good morning, everyone. It's November 30th. Welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. On my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. I'm Bill Rippon, I represent District 1. And joining us by phone today is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3.
Good morning.
Thank you. What's first?
Item 3, consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have 2 voucher reports, as we have done in the past several weeks. The first is what we call normal voucher report, which is the normal expenditures. The normal voucher report was $999,584.26. The highlights out of that voucher report: the largest expenditure was payroll, $598,770.15. Then we have our health insurance premiums for employees of $125,027.28. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas, $101,010.16. An allocation to Stormont Vale Event Center, $100,000. And then finally, our allocation to the coroner of $47,316.67. The second voucher report is our CARES Relief Voucher Fund, which was $311,399.02. The highlight out of that voucher report were expenditures to community-based programs of $133,531.20, those being Darting Basketball Academy, Doorstep Incorporated, Family Service and Guidance Center, Harvesters, Jayhawk Area Council of Aging, Kansas Children's Discovery Center, One Heart Project, Stormont Vale Cares, the Sunshine Connection, Topeka Housing Authority, Topeka Rescue Mission, and YWCA. The other expenditure was to schools of $177,867.82, those going to Shawnee Heights, Seaman, Holy Family, and Hayden High School. I do not have any questions regarding the 2 vouchers and would move for approval of both.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, District Attorney. Consider approval of request to transfer a portion of the surplus from the DA's 2020 budget to the following special project funds. A, $20,000 for the leasing of additional office space in 2021. B, $90,000 to the current cold case project fund to replenish it to the fund's original amount.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Kage, District Attorney. I have 2 requests before the Commission this morning. The first relates to space. And I understand that as a big undertaking. That's something that's been ongoing. And I'm hopeful to see some progress there in short order. However, this is something that has been an issue for my office since 2017, and I would not be doing my due diligence if I did not make preparations and plans for the possibility that we will need to lease office space off-site next year. In 2017, as Commissioner Cook will recall, he's the only commissioner that was that is still here from that time. We were in an off-site lease, and we worked to get out of that lease, and we were able to receive some space from the county at that time, and that proved sufficient for a time. But our space needs have eclipsed that since. We're actually at the point now where I have employees of the DA's office who are housed physically at other agencies because I simply have no place to put them. So we do have a surplus this year. My first request today is to create a special project fund, and we picked $20,000 because that's about the amount that we were spending in our previous lease. It is my hope that you approve this request today, but those funds become completely unnecessary because the problem is solved through other means, and then those funds can be returned to the county. That is my hope.
Questions?
I don't have any questions. I mean, I think that the space issue is one that we're well aware of, and we continue to try to work to reach a resolution. And it's not just the district attorney's office, but we find a number of our departments are kind of confined and restricted in their space, and we've kind of outgrown some of our space, but we are looking to still see what we might be able to do. So I appreciate the district attorneys having a surplus and being able to think ahead into 2021, and so I don't have an issue with either one of these requests and would move for approval.
I will second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mike.
And just to clarify, I only spoke about the first request, but if I'm not mistaken, you made a motion on both.
I did.
You did.
The second request, the replenishment of the cold case fund, is one that I think is well served, because that way you have that in place.
Well, thank you, and I just want to take a moment and express my appreciation for that, because this commission allowed us to modify the purpose of that fund and add a dual purpose. We've been able to bring 2 cold cases forward, one of which is a capital case, and I can tell you that the families of the victims are very appreciative of that work. So thank you for your continued support.
Thank you. All right. Next item.
Item C, Planning, number 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2020-77 for a conditional use permit to allow a 1,000 square foot event center for up to 50 guests on a 10.17 acre property at 2017 Northeast 74th Street in Soldier Township.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Anderson, Planning Department. The matter before you today was considered by the Planning Commission on November 12th. There was one person who spoke, mainly with questions. It wasn't really in opposition or in support. Had some questions about some of the aspects of the proposed use that I wanted to touch on. The Commission made some conditions, or made some adjustments to the staff conditions regarding lights. They allow them to put wall pack lights on the building to facilitate getting from the building to the parking lot, which is in your staff recommendation. They clarify what the sound amplification would be limited to. The applicant and the neighbor adjoining was both in support of those modifications. They also included a condition that would ensure that they obtain any licenses and permits that are required from the KABC if they were to sell alcohol, if they were to serve alcohol or other spirits on the property as part of one of their events, which was agreeable to them. The other conditions were largely, they were agreeable to. The site plan is largely intact. There's a couple minor points they need to address. Otherwise, the site plan is in good condition. The plan of operation is the same. They just need to take out references to overnight lodging, since that's not a part of the conditional use approval that's before you today. The other thing I wanted to mention was that there's a right-of-way on the western side of their property. They are in the process of abandoning or vacating that right-of-way. I think it's an abandonment. And the condition from the county engineer came in before the request for an abandonment to ask for additional 18 feet of right-of-way, which is in your staff report. We modified it to include the little tag phrase at the end, unless the county commission abandons Schaefer Road. So if you were to abandon it, there's no need for us to obviously ask for additional right-of-way. So we'll leave that matter to a future agenda where you'll consider that separately apart from this. So the condition is structured to whatever the outcome is. If we need extra right-of-way, like the county engineer has said, and you don't vacate or abandon, then that part of the condition would remain intact. If you do choose to abandon, it wouldn't, obviously. So With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. The outcome of the before I leave, the commission now voted 6-0 to approve the request per the conditions in your staff report. As I clarified here, now I'd be happy to answer any questions after the public hearing is opened and closed.
Okay. You have any questions?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Okay. Before you did, I did receive one communication from the applicant, basically explaining why she couldn't be here today. I hope it's a boy. And yeah, I will second that motion. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. We're open for public hearing. Do we have any proponents here that would like to speak first? None? Anybody opposed to this? Okay. Well then, I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. And I will make a motion then to approve this request.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item D, Public Health. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-489-2020, approval to enter into an agreement with the University of Kansas Medical Center Research Institute for an amount not to exceed $18,200 to complete accreditation requirements utilizing Shawnee County Health Department tax allocation funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Edith Gaines, the Finance Officer with the Health Department. And again, yes, this is a request to receive consulting assistance from the KU Med Center Research Institute to help us complete our accreditation application. We had our site visit in February, and when the FAB board reviewed our report in September, they did decide that they wanted some additional information from us. And with COVID-19 activities, our staff has been inundated with work, and at this time they are not able to focus their attention on completing our accreditation process. And so the KU Med Center staff have assisted other health departments in obtaining accreditation. We did or are requesting a sole source agreement to waive the purchasing policy because the staff at KU Med Center, they have, they are FAB site reviewers, and one of them is also an instructor, so they are specialized in doing this particular kind of work. And also, there are no other consultants in Kansas on the FAB listing of consultants that are qualified to do this work. And so anyway, that's why we are requesting the sole source purchase of this consulting firm. So the agreement would not come to more than $18,200, which the health department does have the funds available in their current year's budget. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner?
I have none.
Aaron? Will they be filling out all the paperwork and everything for us? I mean, is it a kind of a turnkey operation, or are they just advising us on what we need to do, or?
So it would be some of both. There would be some documentation that they would create, and then there would still be some documentation that our staff would work on, but they would be doing the majority of the work for us.
Okay. Any other comments?
I have no comments or questions.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner... Did I make the... Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item E, Public Works. Number 1, consider approval of request to award bid to Craftco, Inc. for the purchase of a pavement router and heat lance for use with the existing crack sealing equipment in the amount of $15,098 with funding from the 2020 Small CIP Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. This item was approved back in December of last year as part of the small capital items. The funding was approved in December of last year, not the purchase of the equipment. Unfortunately, in April, that purchase was delayed because of COVID-related uncertainties. Then in August, late August, I was given approval to proceed with that purchase. Unfortunately, at that time, I failed to come before the commission and ask for permission to solicit bids. We went ahead with the bid process. We followed the purchasing guidelines, and we received one bid. It came in under the anticipated cost. And so basically, I'm here before you, number 1, to look past the fact that I failed to get permission to solicit bids, and number 2, to accept the single bid that we did receive. It is entirely and completely compatible with our existing Craftco equipment. It met the specifications, and with that, I look forward to your questions.
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
I'll second and understand that this was an exceptional case as to why our purchasing policy, while it was followed, the permission had not been sought. And so just noting that it wasn't exceptional and not usually what happens with Public Works. So, second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider approval of request to award bid to Wellborn Sales, Inc. for metal culverts and end sections in support of road maintenance operations in 2021 with estimated cost not to exceed $80,000 with funding from various accounts dependent upon the specific location of use.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. This time in October, late October of this year, I did get permission to solicit bids for culverts and end sections, which we will use in 2021 for our normal bridge and road maintenance operations. Audit Finance assisted us in sending out bid specifications. We received 2 bids, except for a few culvert sections, which Wellborn Sales does not make. Wellborn was the lowest bid on the vast majority of the various culvert sizes and products that were included in the bid solicitation process. Public Works is also asking for permission to buy from Metal Culverts Incorporated for those very limited cross sections that Wellborn Sales does not produce. So in summary, we're asking to award the bid to Wellborn Sales with the caveat that we can also buy from Metal Culverts for only those sections that Wellborn does not make. Your questions are appreciated.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Kurt, you noted in the memorandum that there was about a 3% increase in the cost over last year. How does that, is that what we're anticipating, that about a 3% increase per year, or was this just what we noticed for this year?
No, I think 3% is typical. What I have seen in the various tasks that I've been doing over the past few years, construction costs or any construction-related item increases at a greater rate than the general cost of living index. Mm-hmm. So I think 3%, maybe 3.5% is something that we should anticipate going forward.
Okay.
on an average.
As we look forward to, and again, just, I mean, taking this time just to think about some of our other construction projects that we have down the road, if we have a project that we're not anticipating to get to for maybe 5 to 10 years, we would anticipate that increase as well for other projects?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And in fact, on the two sales tax projects, that is a concern of mine.
And so if we were to look at, one of the largest construction projects on the sales tax is the reconstruction of Northwest Rochester Road. And so our anticipation or our concern is that our cost might elapse what the index is looking at? Or-
Yes. Obviously, the program was started in 2017, so obviously the cost for that Rochester project was established on or before 2017, and we won't get to the project until 2027 at the earliest. So that's 10 years of inflation that we're talking about. I'm guessing that the inflation was taken into account when the project cost was estimated. Nevertheless, it is a concern.
Okay. I think it's just something for us to note down the road. Now, as to these requests today, you're requesting that we award the 282 to Wellborn with the remainder to the Metal Culverts Incorporated?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. A couple of years ago, I know that the feds were requiring that we use American-made steel on project. Is this American-made steels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it meets all the.
Okay.
If we're going to use this on a federal job, it obviously has to meet the Made in America criteria. If we're going to use this on a project where it's not federally funded, then we do not absolutely have to satisfy the Made in America criteria. Whether this contract meets that Made in America criteria, I can't answer that. I don't think it does, but it does not have to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioner Mays, you have any questions?
No, I would move to approve, though.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 3, consider approval of change order number 1 final for the culvert replacement Southwest Morrill Road over tributary to Colby Creek, resulting in an increase of $29,531.41, and approval of change order number 1 final for the water line relocation project, city project number T281205.02, resulting in a decrease of $1,308.53 for a net increase of $28,222.88 with funding from the project budget.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. This is just our usual final change order that represents as bid quantities or as bid quantities versus final quantities versus constructed quantities. The unit prices do not change. The water line project was, normally we do utility relocations prior to our construction project, but in this case we added the city water line relocation to the project. Its change order decreased the cost of the project, that portion of the project, by approximately $1,300. As far as the culvert replacement, 3 things resulted in the $28,000 increase. Number 1, the pavement thickness was greater than anticipated, so the pavement removal turned into rock excavation. Number 2, we had a little more pavement removal than the project required. That was to the mutual benefit of both the general contractor and Shawnee County, so we split the cost of that increased pavement removal and replacement. And then finally, if you recall, on I think either the second to the last or the last day of July of 2020, we had a tremendous storm event. And that storm event came through and it wrecked the project to some degree. Some of that was the responsibility of the contractor to repair, and part of that was extra work, which would be county responsibility. So those three items really accounted for the $29,000 increase in the cost of that project. Nevertheless, with the net increase of 28 something, we still come in with a total project budget that was less than the commission, had approved last year. Questions?
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Kurt. Next item.
Item F, Human Resources, number 1, consider approval of request to post and fill the local health department director position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. Linda Oakes has announced her retirement, and I believe it's time for us to get the position posted. The salary would depend on qualifications and range from $75,929 to $100,550. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yes.
Angela, can you walk us through what the search process is going to look like for the replacement of Linda? Is this going to be an internal search, a local-only search, a national search? What would you anticipate?
I believe that we'll do a national search. Our next item will set us up to be able to do that and have the time to do that. That would be the appointment of an interim director, but we'll need a national search for this. So it will probably take us a lot longer than our normal searches, but we're ready to get on it.
And then as far as the timeline, if we approve the item today, when would the notice go out to the public that we are accepting applications?
The notice would go out later this afternoon.
And then that would all be done through our county website?
Our county website initially, but since it'll be a national search, we'll also use other sources. Of course, we always use Indeed, but we'll have to look elsewhere as well.
And how long are we going to leave the position open, or applications, when would they be due?
Until we find a qualified candidate.
Okay. And then the committee, just kind of walking again the public through the process, as we have done with other directors, we've taken applications, and then usually the county commissioners would meet and interview those for that director type position.
Absolutely. Sometimes you ask for someone else to sit on the committee with you, but certainly the three commissioners sit on the committee.
Okay. All right.
I have
any
no
other questions.
Commissioner Mays? I'll move.
Thank you, Angela. I think I'm happy to see this starting up and looking forward to seeing who applies. So I would move to approve.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, consider approval of resolution number 2020-76, appointing Ms. Teresa Fisher to serve as the interim director for the Shawnee County Health Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources again. We just discussed needing to fill this position. I think we'd have the Health Department in good hands until we do, with the addition of Teresa Fisher as the interim director. Teresa has been a 15-year employee of the Health Department, and she's here today, so if you'd like to give her a minute to introduce herself.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. I currently serve as the Family Health Division Manager. As Angela stated, I have been with the Health Department for the past 15 years. I started as a staff nurse working on our maternal child health and WIC programs. I then was promoted to a team leader, and in 2016 took over the division manager role that I have. I feel qualified to serve as the interim director, knowing this is a challenging time in our community, but I feel that I have the skill set to guide our staff and the work that we're doing here in our community.
Any questions?
I do not have any questions.
Commissioner Mays?
Nothing from me. I'll move to approve.
I read your article in the paper this weekend, and it looks like you're very well qualified. I see you went to K-State.
I did.
Very good. All right. I will second Commissioner Mays. Let's see.
Yeah, Commissioner Mays motioned.
He made the motion, okay. Commissioner Mays has made the motion, I'll second. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item.
Item G, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Hill regarding renewal of the preventative maintenance agreement, Contract C-490-2020 with Vertiv Corporation for 3 years to provide maintenance and replacement of parts for the emergency uninterrupted power supply at 3 tower sites at a total cost of $20,368 from budgeted funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shane Hubler, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. This is just for the uninterrupted power sources at 3 of our tower sites. I don't need to remind everybody how critical those tower sites are for the operation of our radio system. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Number 2, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Hill regarding the purchase of additional softcode software license fees from Tyler Technologies at a cost of $25,318 with funding from the Sheriff's Office 2020 budget.
Again, Shane Hubler with Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Softcode is the civil process software that we bought through Tyler Technologies. Earlier, we have done some reorganization and require another license for all the people in our civil process unit. Hopefully, as soon as COVID slows down, we will get soft code up and running, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Commissioner Mays?
No questions, but we acknowledge receipt.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, thank you.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Okay, at this time, anybody would like to speak on any subject? Okay. All right, next item.
Do any of you have anything?
Okay. Do you have any comments?
I do not.
Commissioner Mays?
None from me. I'm sad that I'm not there today, but hope you understand I have to quarantine for a couple weeks, I guess. So we'll be back soon.
Okay. I have nothing to report. We do have a need for executive session. I want to make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 40 minutes for the following reasons: to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, specifically to discuss salaries. That will be a 20-minute discussion. And also for the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real properties, not to exceed 20 minutes. Both these are for the consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in attorney-client relationship. No actions expected at this time.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
You want the originals, right? Do you need the originals? Okay, well, thank you.
We're back in session. No actions taken at this time, so we're adjourned.